But then I put the inquiry into Google's AI program, Gemini. I'm 81 years old, asking whether it's safe for me to walk that distance. And I saw the videos of the monks walking, and they were walking very fast.
Yeah, they were, right?
And Gemini told me, don't do it. Danger to the heart, danger to the skeletal structure, danger to other organs. But watching the videos, the YouTube videos of the walk and the Facebook videos, I was really amazed to see so many thousands of people of every ethnicity, every faith tradition, atheists, agnostics, coming out to welcome the monks, to greet them, to venerate them. And all of this showed to me, I have to say that this country is suffering, though it's the wealthiest country in the world, but it's suffering from a deep inner poverty.
Come on now.
Though it's the most powerful country in the world, supposedly, but it's suffering from a deep inner weakness.
Come on.
And what these monks have done is to show that our fundamental value, the value that really appeals to our deepest spirit, is that of unity, the affirmation of the inherent dignity of every human being, and the desire for all of us to live in peace, unity, and harmony. So I hope that the message of these monks will reverberate throughout this country, and not only through this country, because what this country is doing right now, cutting the funding for the United Nations, cutting the funding for UNAIDS, the Agency for International Development. Hundreds and thousands of people are in danger of losing their lives because of the policies of this country. And so what we need is affirmation of human unity that is going to make us a compassionate country, a country filled with, inspired by the vision of human unity, and transforming our direction to promote peace, unity, and harmony throughout the world. So I hope that will be the effect.
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Respected Mahasangha, respected Mr. President, Reverend, and all the people here. First of all, I pay gratitude and deeply respect to the Mahasangha who come in here today to support our Walk for Peace team. And thank you, President, that allowing us and host us here in this special event. Thank you everyone for coming out for this mission, Walk for Peace. Thank you so much. How much time do I have? Because we have to keep up with the time, because our schedule today is very tight. 30 minutes? How many of us are ready to listen to my talk? And why are we still here? How many of us already take that into action? Wow, that's a lot. Are we at peace right now? Why does she shake her head? You're not at peace? How come? Stress? Even in this moment? No? Okay. Well, stress is always with us, unfortunately. If we are not mindful enough, we always live with stress. And mindfulness is a key. Mindfulness is something that we have to have. We have to live with. Every second, every breath. Otherwise, stress, anxiety, and depressions will always be there with us, or will not leave us alone. it will chase us down. And just like she said, even in this moment, she still has stress. And I believe it's not just only her. Do you know why? Because you are not paying attention to what's going on right now. Because your head is wandering around and your head is chasing, your mind is chasing after the thoughts. Whichever one is powerful, more powerful, that will pull you there. If our speech is not powerful enough versus your thought, then your thought wins over our speech. Is that right? That is when we live with suffering. But if our speech is powerful enough, and if you be able to focus, listen, pay fully attention to our talk, then all these inside, it will settle, will be settled, right? Because our mind can only focus at one thing at a time. It cannot be multitasked. Unfortunately, all of us are multitasking ourselves. And that is the reason why we cannot stay focused. Stay focused means we concentrate on one thing at a time. If you are listening right now, you won't have any other problem going on in our head. But when you're listening and checking on your phone at the same time, which one is listening, which one is checking on the phone? Because the mind is only doing one thing at a time, can take only one object at a time. Either this or this, right? So whichever one is stronger, it will pull you there. If this is stronger, it will pull your attention to here. If this is stronger, it will pull your attention to here. And that is when we stay focused. Either here or here. So it's all up to us to decide which one that we want. And I have to tell you this. We've been living in this world long enough to associate, to do all kind of things unnecessary for our life. Create more challenge, more troubles, and bring suffer to us. A lot. More than enough. And if we cannot let go, if we cannot let go of everything just for a moment to look back within, we can never have peace. While we are here, if we cannot utilize this time to reflect ourselves, to pay fully attention to it, because we spend a lot of time and effort to get here, a lot of traffic out there. And while we are here, we still worry about everything else. And while we are here, we still doing something else. We waste our time. We waste our effort. How much more energy and time we have in this world to waste? I don't think we have that much. Within one breath going in, without going out, we die. And we don't know when that moment will come. We could die at any time, any moment. Imagine if we die before we can focus in ourselves, focus on our breath. We breathe in every second, but never pay attention to our breath. Breathe and then breathe and then breathe, just like a robot, just like a machine, to survive. That is a habit. We don't even know how long our breath is, how short it is. We don't even have a moment to look back, to feel our heartbeat. We don't even have a moment to see our breath. We are too busy doing so many things at the same time. Busy chasing the outside world and chasing materialities. That's why we don't even have time for ourselves. Sometimes we can't even catch up with our breath. And how terrible it is. That's how fast we're moving along with that world. The world is spinning and we try to spin with it. And the more you spin yourself, the more you get tired and anxious. But we're still doing that. That is the reason why I came up with this idea of walk for peace. Try to raise the awareness of peace that has been with us, with all beings, with all human beings, for a very long time. It's always with us. But like I said, we are way too busy to see it, to live with it. And that is why us Venerable monks walking, hoping that to raise this awareness so that all people along the road who will meet, that can slow down, that can stop from doing everything else, to look back within to find that peace, or to unlock that box where you have locked peace and happiness in it and forgotten it. There are so many people coming out to support this mission. And of course, there are people practicing take this into action seriously. There are people just coming out for fun. There are people just coming out for pictures and social media. And there are some people just come out to offer and then go back home, go back to the old days. The year of 2026, over a month has passed. Very quick, very fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's moving very fast.
Yeah.
Watch and see. Year of 2026 will be gone very soon. And we really don't know if we'll be able to survive within this year. We still stay alive within this year. We don't know. Everything's so impermanent, including this life. And so if we cannot take this seriously, we are afraid that if we are behind this world, we will lag behind if we are not chasing the world. We are afraid that way. But look, if we cannot do something better for ourselves within this year, then our life is just going to be very, very sad. COVID-19 has killed so many people. That is disaster around the world. We are fortunate and grateful enough that we still stay alive. We still survive after the pandemic. But there will be many, many more disasters will come, stronger each and every time. Are we ready for it? Are we just living in this world day by day, waiting for that moment to come? Or are we willing to change for the better? Are we willing to change this world together? And how do we change this world together? Mindfulness. Once we are living in mindfulness, we will not harm ourselves, we will not harm the others. We will know what to say, what to do. We will stay away from unwholesome things. and doing wholesome things. If all the people in this nation and all the people in this world doing the same thing, doing wholesome things only, living in peace only, this world will be a better place for all beings to live. But in order for that to happen, it requires us to put effort and energy into it by practicing mindfulness every day. I'm standing in here in this university to talk. Mostly are students, a lot of students. Of course, this is university, it's more for the student, right? Students, are you stressed? Because of schoolwork? Yes? Because of that goal that you set for yourself? Every day, you're stressed. You try to stay up all night, try to figure out that problem, that schoolwork. And the more you're trying, the more you tire and suffer. And yet, you still could not figure it out. And now you live with anxiety and depression. And of course, after all that effort, if you fail, you'll be disappointed and you're mad at yourself so much. And now you're even worse in depression. How do we change that? How do we work through it without mindfulness? Instead of pushing yourself, all you need to do is just take a break. Take a deep breath as much as you want because it's free. The air is free. Take a deep breath and then concentrate on your breathing. Add awareness to each and every breath going in and out. Naturally, knowing each breath going in, each breath going out. When thought arises, don't try to eliminate or push it away. Simply just observe that thought, acknowledge that thought as thought, silently come back here with the breathing. Another thought popped up. Believe me, you have millions and millions of thoughts. Because you record it in here every single time when you associate with people. When you do things, when you see things, you hear things, you smell, you taste, you touch. It's recorded. After it's recorded, it will rise up and rise up and rise up every single time. It's right now, like I said, we have full of thoughts. If we cannot pay attention to my talk, we will live with thoughts. We suffer. Right? So if we are clever enough to know our thoughts, to acknowledge that thought, we'll come back with this present moment, which is each and every breath. Or while I talk. This is the present moment. I'm talking right now. Then this is the present moment. Thinking about the past, living with the future, those are thoughts. Those are not usable. Those are trash. We don't need to live with that. And so, thought pop up again, one after another. We simply just observe it, acknowledge it, come back here with the breathing. Concentrate on our breathing. We breathe every second, like I mentioned earlier. Now we just add awareness to each and every breath going in and out. That's all we need to do. When you hear noise, sound, observe that. Acknowledge that as sound, come back here with the breathing again. When you have any type of feelings within this physical body, itchy, numb, pain, anything, concentrate on that, observe that, acknowledge that as feeling or itchy or numb, come back here. We train ourselves to come back to this present moment, live with this present moment here and now. We don't have this habit. We never have it because we live in the world where we always multitask on ourselves. That is why we cannot stay focused, remember? And so now we need to train ourselves just like a baby. Train ourselves to go back to the old days, doing only one thing at a time. This is the only one thing that we are doing right now, or at that moment where you practice it. Where you practice. Just pay attention to it. That is your job. That is your duty. Bring in that mind back to this present moment with each and every breath going in and out. If you could do that, you will have a peaceful day. If you remain practicing that every single day, you will have a peaceful life. And peace always begins from within, not without. Not out there. Don't expect the world to be at peace, because it will never happen. If we have 100 monks, not just about 20 monks, but if we have thousands of monks walking every day like that, the world is still not going to be at peace. But all the human beings in this world are practicing mindfulness every single day. It will change this world to be at peace. The power of togetherness can change everything. The power of that positive energy that we are giving out to that universe starting from now, it will change everything. Instead of spread hate and anger and delusion and greedy, all that mind into this universe, now we should only spread loving kindness, compassion, and peace to the universe so it can shower back down with loving kindness, compassion, and peace, so that this world will become a better place for all beings to live. So I hope after today, after our journey ends in Washington, D.C., we all will continue this journey. We have to walk for the rest of our life. This walk is very meaningful. This walk could change our life, could change this world. So how many of us willing to walk to bring world peace? All of us? Yes? So you promise that you will walk with all the venerable monks until the end of our life, right? Yes? Well, in spirit, I already talked about it. In spirit, that we walk means we practice every single day. Please, every day, write down that statement that I always say. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Live with it. Be mindful with it. May you all be well, be happy, and be peaceful. Thank you so much for all the love and support and mindfulness.
In an age dominated by data, algorithms, and the relentless ping of notifications, there is something profoundly subversive about the simple act of walking. It is an act that defies the logic of efficiency and speed that governs our modern lives. When Venerable Bhikkhu Panikkara, an 81-year-old spiritual leader, contemplated embarking on a walk for peace across the United States, he did what many of us would do. He consulted the oracle of our times, artificial intelligence. He asked a digital interface whether it was safe for an octogenarian to traverse such vast distances on foot. The algorithm, processing data on heart strain, skeletal stress, and physical exhaustion, offered a resounding no. It warned of danger to the organs. It calculated the risks and found them too high. It was a rational answer, grounded in the biology of survival. Yet, the venerable monk walked anyway. He walked because the logic of the heart operates on a different frequency than the logic of the machine. This moment, the clash between the calculated safety of the known and the courageous uncertainty of the spiritual journey, sets the stage for a much deeper inquiry into the human condition. When the monks began their journey, moving step by step across the American landscape, something unexpected happened. They did not just encounter the physical dangers the AI predicted. they encountered a tidal wave of humanity. Thousands of people, spanning every ethnicity, political affiliation, and faith tradition, including atheists and agnostics, poured out of their homes to greet them. Why? What compels a busy American, tethered to a schedule and a smartphone, to stop and stand by the roadside to venerate a group of walking monks? The answer lies in a shared, unspoken intuition. We are safe physically, perhaps, but we are starving spiritually. The monk's walk was not merely a physical endurance test. It was a mirror held up to a society that has forgotten how to be still. It was a silent proclamation that while we have conquered the external world, we have lost our way in the internal one. This phenomenon exposes a startling paradox at the heart of the American experience. We live in what is arguably the wealthiest and most powerful nation in history. We have amassed technologies that allow us to communicate instantly with anyone on the planet, medical advances that prolong our lives, and an economy that generates immense material abundance. Yet, as the venerable monk observed during his journey, this country is suffering from a deep inner poverty. It is a poverty that cannot be fixed by a stimulus check or a new policy. Because it is a poverty of the spirit, we see it in the rising tides of anxiety, the fractures in our communities, and the pervasive sense of isolation that haunts even the most crowded cities. We are rich in things, but poor in peace. The inner weakness that characterizes this state is not a moral failing, but a structural one. We have built a civilization that prioritizes the outer at the expense of the inner. We are taught to accumulate, to achieve, and to conquer, but we are rarely taught how to simply be. The crowds greeting the monks were not looking for money or power. They were looking for dignity. They were drawn to the spectacle of unity, the sight of human beings moving together in harmony, driven not by profit, but by peace. This deep resonance suggests that our fundamental value, the one that truly appeals to our deepest spirit, is not competition, but connection. We yearn for an affirmation of the inherent dignity of every human being. When we see peace in motion, we recognize it as our true home. A home we have left behind in our frantic race toward an undefined finish line. The monks showed that the antidote to inner poverty is not more wealth, but more unity, a return to the understanding that we are not isolated competitors, but fellow travelers on a shared road. However, recognizing this inner poverty is only the first step. To address it, we must understand the mechanism that keeps us trapped in a state of unrest. We must look at the nature of our own minds. Most of us live in a state of servitude, not to an external master, but to the chaotic tyranny of our own thoughts. As the venerable monk points out, we are rarely the masters of our own attention. Instead, we are pulled hither and thither by whichever thought screams the loudest. If a thought of anger arises, we are dragged into anger. If a thought of worry arises, we are dragged into anxiety. We are like leaves in a windstorm, blown about by the gale force of our unexamined mental habits. This lack of mental sovereignty is exacerbated by the modern myth of multitasking. We wear our ability to do 3 things at once as a badge of honor, unaware that it is actually a badge of fragmentation. We try to listen while checking our phones. We try to work while worrying about the news. We try to rest while planning for tomorrow. But the mind, in its true nature, can only focus on one thing at a time. When we split our attention, we are not doubling our productivity, we are halving our presence. We are nowhere, because we are trying to be everywhere. This is the root of our stress. Stress is the friction caused by the mind trying to be in the future or the past while the body is stuck in the present. We are physically here, but mentally gone. Consider the student stressed about an exam, or the professional anxious about a deadline. The stress does not come from the work itself, it comes from the resistance to the present moment. We push ourselves to the breaking point, trying to solve problems with a tired, scattered mind, and when we fail, we spiral into depression and self-judgment. We live in a state of chronic mental multitasking, and as a result, we are exhausted, We have forgotten the simple, restorative power of doing one thing at a time. To reclaim our peace, we must reclaim our attention. We must learn to step out of the rushing river of thought and stand on the bank, observing the flow without drowning in it. This is the essence of freedom, the ability to choose where we place our mind, rather than having our mind dictate where we go. The path to this freedom is not found in complex philosophy or expensive retreats. It is found in something we carry with us every second of every day. Something so ordinary we completely overlook it. Our breath. The breath is the bridge between the body and the mind, the anchor that keeps us tethered to the here and now. Yet, most of us breathe like robots or machines. We treat breathing as a mere biological necessity, a background process to keep the hardware running while we live entirely in our heads. We breathe to survive, but we do not breathe to *live. Mindfulness invites us to change this relationship. It asks us to take a break, not a vacation to a tropical island, but a micro-vacation in the middle of a chaotic Tuesday. It asks us to stop pushing and simply inhale. The air is free. It is the one resource that is not rationed or sold. When we concentrate on our breathing, adding awareness to each inhalation and exhalation, we interrupt the cycle of stress. We stop the spinning of the mind. This practice sounds simple, but it is radical. When a thought arises, and it will, millions of them, recorded from everything we have ever seen, heard, or tasted, we are conditioned to fight it or follow it. Mindfulness teaches a third way, to acknowledge it. We see the thought, we label it, thought, and we gently return to the breath. We hear a sound, we label it, sound, and return to the breath. We feel an itch or a pain, we label it, feeling, and return to the breath. This gentle return is the training of the mind. It is like training a puppy. We do not beat the puppy for wandering off. We simply bring it back to the cushion. By doing this, we break the habit of multitasking and cultivate the habit of presence. We begin to unlock that box where we have locked away our peace and happiness. We realize that peace is not something we have to go out and find. It is something we have to stop covering up with our busyness. Yet, there is a formidable adversary to this practice: our cultural obsession with speed and the illusion of permanence. We are terrified of stopping. We fear that if we slow down to breathe, the world will spin on without us and we will be left behind. We live with a scarcity mindset regarding time, always feeling that we are running out, always chasing the next moment. The year 2026 arrives, and before we have truly lived in it, it is gone, and we are bracing for 2027. We move fast because we are afraid of what we might see if we stand still. The venerable monk reminds us of a hard truth: our time is finite. The pandemic taught us this lesson with brutal clarity. Millions of lives were extinguished, reminding us that we are not invincible. Disaster can strike at any moment, and it often comes stronger each time. If we spend our limited days chasing material things, spinning along with a frantic world, we risk arriving at the end of our lives without ever having truly lived. We risk dying before we have even taken one conscious breath. This fear of being left behind is a delusion. In reality, by chasing the world, we are leaving ourselves behind. We are abandoning our own hearts in pursuit of a phantom future. The more we spin, the more dizzy and tired we become. The wisdom of the walk for peace is the wisdom of the tortoise. True progress is not about speed, it is about direction and consistency. It is better to take one mindful step in peace than to run a marathon in anxiety. If we cannot utilize our time here, amidst the traffic, the noise, and the responsibilities, to reflect and look within, we are wasting the most precious gift we have. The energy we spend worrying is energy we are stealing from our own vitality. To step off the treadmill is not to give up, it is to wake up. It is to realize that the only moment we ever actually have is this one. If we are not peaceful now, when will we be? When we begin to cultivate this individual peace, a profound shift occurs in our relationship with the wider world. we realize that we cannot hoard peace for ourselves, by its very nature. Peace radiates outward. The inner poverty of a nation is simply the aggregate of the inner poverty of its citizens. Therefore, the inner wealth of a nation must begin with the individual. We often look to leaders, presidents, or international bodies like the United Nations to fix the world. We despair when funding for humanitarian aid is cut, or when policies seem to favor conflict over compassion. But we must remember that policies are made by people, and people are driven by their minds. A mind filled with greed and hate will create policies of greed and hate. A mind filled with mindfulness and compassion will create policies of unity. The power of togetherness is the engine of global transformation. Imagine if, instead of spreading hate, anger, and delusion into the universe, millions of us committed to spreading loving kindness. This is not a metaphysical fantasy, it is a practical reality. Our mental energy contributes to the collective atmosphere. When we practice mindfulness, we stop harming ourselves, and naturally, we stop harming others. We become more conscious of what we say and do. We stay away from unwholesome actions not because of a law, but because we are sensitive to the suffering they cause. If the citizens of a country practice this, the country changes. It transforms from a nation driven by fear and division into a compassionate country, inspired by the vision of human unity. This is the only way to truly secure the safety of the world. We can have thousands of monks walking every day, but if the rest of us remain asleep, the world will not change. But if we, the ordinary people, the students, the workers, the parents, take up the practice, the world must change. We stop waiting for peace to be handed down from a podium and start generating it from the grassroots up. We begin to understand that the universe reflects back to us what we put into it. If we shower the world with compassion, it will eventually shower compassion back upon us. Ultimately, the walk for peace did not end when the monks reached their destination. The physical journey was merely a metaphor for the journey we must all undertake for the rest of our lives. The road does not end at a state line or a monument. The road is our life itself. We have to walk every single day. This does not mean we must abandon our jobs and hike across the continent. To walk in spirit means to practice every single day. It means waking up each morning and setting a deliberate intention. We must make a promise to ourselves, a solemn vow that is more important than any New Year's resolution. We must promise to make today a peaceful day. This is the mantra that can guide us through the darkest times. Today is going to be my peaceful day. When we say this, we are not predicting that the world will be easy or that traffic will be light. We are stating that no matter what the world throws at us, we will meet it with a mindful heart. We will breathe. We will observe our thoughts without being enslaved by them. We will treat the people we meet with the dignity they deserve. This journey is not easy. It requires effort and energy. It requires us to swim against the current of a distracted, materialistic culture. But the alternative is to remain lost in the spin, tired and shaken until our final breath. The invitation stands open to us all, regardless of our age, our background, or our beliefs. We can unlock the peace that has always been inside us. We can choose, right now, to stop running and start walking. We can cherish this fragile, impermanent life by fully inhabiting it. May we all find the courage to take that first mindful step. And may we all be well, happy, and peaceful on the road ahead.